Awesome. Today I have JaVaughn with RecruiterVault. JaVaughn, how's it going, man?
Going good. Justin, how you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I appreciate you taking the time to hop on this call and talk with me for a little bit.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Appreciate the offer to come share. I don't do these too much because as soon as you do these, all hell break loose.
Right, right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, man, but I appreciate it big time. So I guess we can start out with just you. If you want to just introduce yourself and what it is that you do.
Yeah, JaVaughn Spencer, actually two things. I'm a life insurance agency owner, broker, and a marketing agency owner as well.
Awesome. And how did you initially hear about us and I guess our services as well?
That is a very good question. I can't remember. I don't, it must have been, I'm trying to think because I don't know if you run ads or if I just stumbled across the algorithm has a weird way of showing me what I need at the right time.
Hmm.
But whatever I saw, it was definitely um, speaking to the pain because we were about to give up on cold email outreach big time. And
Hmm.
we tried a few different things and we got robbed in plain sight and was just about to completely give up. So I do know that much.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, we do a little bit of everything. So we were running ads for a little while. We do a lot of outbound, which I assume is likely where we had come across. But yeah, I do remember that when we initially spoke that you were having some issues with cold email in the past. But yes, what were you struggling with anything particularly before signing up with us? Like what was your business like in terms of lead generation?
Yeah, so we were heavily dependent on Meta for ad spend, and it's just so expensive, right? So my target audience were life insurance agents, and I had a list of them, had their email, but I could never, by the time I start running ads on Meta, I'm looking at 20, 40, $50 a booked appointment. And it was like, man, this is got to be another way because I have too much data to contact them. So it was like I stopped wanting to be, we're so heavy on paid ads and hit them, find my clients in another direction. So it was like, hey, how do I leverage this info I have? I got hundreds of thousands of records, but I'm still trying to find them on Meta. So it was like, what's out there to be able to give me another fishing pole in the river?
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's one of the big things that we talk with a lot of prospects as well. One of the biggest reasons that we went into cold email in the first place was really just because it's so much more lucrative than a lot of these other, lead generation methods, right? And when you're thinking about ads, you have to really pour thousands of dollars into ads every single month, just to get the same amount of impressions that you would if you were spending less on cold email and just sending, let's say 6,000 emails a day, for example. You just get a lot more bang for your buck. Plus, with cold email, you're reaching out directly to your target audience, to your ideal
Yep.
prospects. Whereas with ads, sometimes I get Instagram ads where I'm clearly not the ICP, right? I would never convert on that ad, where you're spending all this money and you're still showing up in front of people that are not your target audience. Right? So there's just two very different discrepancies between ads and cold email. That's really why we went all in with this lead gen method. But I'm glad to hear that it's worked out well for you.
Absolutely.
And so why did you decide it was time to kind of sign up for your services? I assume because you were running ads and it wasn't really, where you wanted it to go, but why did you decide right then and there that that was the time to, go all in on cold email?
The numbers game, like we knew we had so much data, we had so many people to reach out to. Paid ads was, I mean, I think when we met, Justin, our appointment booking was close to right at 50 to or $75 was what it was costing to book an appointment. And then it was still taking us 3 or 4 sits to be able to get that. So it was just through the roof. And I didn't want us to slow down by putting the messages out there and hitting people that's not maybe on Meta or TikTok or what have you. So we pushed the button. It was like, you know what? We have to get something out there. Number one, you know, number two, we have the data. We know this is our target audience because we have the information right there. Now we just have to work with someone to get us in the inbox and also better than the inbox, help us with the messages because the reason that I really chose working with you guys and you was because you were not in the industry. And sometimes we get so caught up, I get so caught up into what I would respond to. And working with you, you know what the consumers will respond to. And that's, the perfect balance, because if I constantly walk into marketing what I think I would respond to, I'm going to alienate a large majority of the public. So you knowing and having your foot on the ground to what is common for email and cold email at that made us make that decision, and I'm glad we did.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's a really big misconception in just the general market right now, where a lot of people think that you need to be really niche specific, in order to understand the target audience. But when it comes to something like cold email, we use essentially the same framework across all of our clients. And obviously, it's kind of plug and play where a campaign that we'd run for your company would be completely different from someone else. But, the same infrastructure is there for every single client that we work with, right? So as long as we're able to get in the inbox, we know what generates curiosity, what generates interest, what books calls with qualified prospects. That's really the main foundation of what creates a really solid cold email campaign that's gonna push results. But I'm glad to hear that as well. So I mean, what have your business results been like since joining? I know we've been working for about 11 months now.
Yeah.
What have your results kind of looked like?
So the fun part is that we get to see it. We get the alerts constantly all day long from Slack that someone's replied. So that is really awesome to see. But over 800 leads just from people that we had the data, sparked the interest. We were able to test. The one thing I like with the cold email is that we can test what to do on the other side of the house, right? So if they're responding and they're biting heavy on this, we're like, oh, this offer is really good. We can take and expand it to, our other product offerings. So, but over 800 leads that are people who we would have never got in touch with. They would have never replied. They would have never gave us the time of day, and yet they responded to a tap on the shoulder because we presented an offer for them. Then taking it to our sales team to keep them busy, keep them responding, keep them active, and not focused on only who books on their calendar. Like having all angles, which is what our goal was, to not just have them sitting down and a complete laydown all the time. Hey, you have to engage. You're going to have some people that's ready to go. You're going to have some people that you need to massage. It's called business. Very, very happy and constantly steady of the steady flow of incoming people, incoming revenue, and future revenue, because we're constantly dripping on them all the time.
Awesome, awesome. I appreciate that, JaVaughn. Yeah, I mean, a big thing too with cold email, a lot of people don't think about is, beyond just the lead generation aspect, which is obviously huge for business, you can also test various different offers. Like I know you've had probably like three different offers over the past 10 or 11 months we've been working together. And just A/B testing and seeing what's working, what's not, and then taking that data and applying it into your business is really what's going to help people scale, right? So I'm glad to hear that it's really helped you work out and in terms of, what's working and what's not with all the different offers that you've had. But so what's one piece of advice that you would have for other clients to really be able to get the most out of our cold email services?
Uh, for me, I would say I'm hard headed. And because I came in tainted, I came in like already having to, you know, feel that I got the short end of the stick when it comes to cold email. Like I walked in pretty apprehensive and dealt with a lot of yes men, but definitely appreciated you shooting me straight, because you always under promised and over delivered, right? So I'm not the best with metrics and numbers and looking at that when it comes to the code side, because I don't know what to expect, but you always let me know the bare minimum, and we always worked on our KPIs to be at least this, and then we always exceeded it. So I would say the the best thing is to kind of tune in and use your expertise, and know that it's always going to be a under promise situation, which I appreciate. So for this time, it's never been a time or a moment that we're ever in doubt, because we always had better results than we expected to begin with. So I think I'm pretty solid on that.
Absolutely, yeah, and that's the ideal scenario for really anybody that we work with is, we want to under promise and over deliver. We never want to a lot of people ask us for estimates in terms of like, oh, how many replies do you think we can get? How many book calls? And it just varies so differently for every single industry, every single target audience, every single offer that we work with, right? Because again, everybody's different. Everyone has a unique angle that we kind of have to craft and a different target audience. So really making sure that we're setting realistic expectations that we know we can deliver on is really, really important to us. And so obviously that's what we try to do with you as well. And so I'm glad that that has worked out.
Yeah.
The last one here. So, what would you say to someone that's considering working with us or considering trying out cold email?
Guys, I sit there and I still get email. I would still get the algorithm still puts different marketers in front of me constantly for email outreach, and they promise this, they promise that, and I literally roll my eyes because I know that you're about to get robbed, right? I just know it because I got robbed, right? I got robbed, and I walked in here so skeptical and still given that last, like, you know what? He's not a yes man. He's not telling me what I want to hear. He's telling me what he can do at least, and we gave it a shot and pleasantly surprised that we're exceeding what we were happy with, getting before. So I can't tell you what to do. I'm just telling you that I see the same ads. I'm not going to call their names that I'm still in disputes with, but I see them. They're constantly, they make it sound so big, but to be able to have someone that every time you call or message, they reply back, so that every time you give an idea, they're running it through if this is going to be successful for you, so that you're not just wasting money on your good idea, is priceless, right? So even if you're considering dollar for dollar, you're going to win there with Justin and his team. And if you're comparing, support to support, which is a huge thing for us, and someone that knows the metrics of what's working outside of your field, so that you don't have to be the first guinea pig. So all that combined, it's a winning situation here. So I would tell them, if you don't want to be disappointed, but if you want to follow who's on, trust you me, I did it. I got the receipts and I got the lawsuit to match. So don't do it.
Awesome, JaVaughn. Awesome. I really, really appreciate all of that. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the end of my questions. I really appreciate you coming on and, talking to me today. Did you have anything else that you want to leave off with?
No, man, I would just tell them, kind of forget everything that you know and just follow, trust the process, follow the system. You're talking to someone that just wanted to let it ride, let the campaigns do what they're going to do, and then let Justin and his team figure out what's working and then change it and push more traffic to that. So, just be flexible and you'll win.
Awesome. Thank you so much, JaVaughn. I appreciate you taking the time today. It was great talking with you.
Absolutely. Appreciate you. Thank you. Have a good one.
All right.
Peace.